Hello everyone, Amod here from the Target Common YouTube channel. In this video tutorial, our focus will be on creating XPath expressions to target web elements that contain attributes and text values with non-breaking spaces. On this web page, we can see multiple anchor web elements with different text and ID values. We can have any web elements of similar pattern. Here anchor I have taken just for the example purpose. First anchor web element contains a text value and all the words are separated using single white space. Next anchor element contains a text value and this text value has leading and trailing white spaces. And for the third one, we have more than one white spaces at the starting and end of the text value. And if you see the fourth one, we have leading and trailing white spaces and also we have uneven spaces in between. And for this element, we have something nbsp, which is non-breaking white spaces. And if I open this HTML page in Chrome, you can see it appears as a white space only. If you inspect this one, then here you can see we have the non-breaking white space here. In HTML code, it will be appearing as nbsp, which is the HTML entity, but while rendering on a browser, it will appear as a white space. And for this anchor web element, we have the nbsp white spaces between words. And here you can see we have another anchor web element where id value contains some value with nbsp. And in this video tutorial, we will learn how to locate these types of web elements using XPath. But before that, let's understand what is non-breaking white spaces or NBSP. So normal white space is provided using the spacebar key, but NBSP is HTML entity for space. So what is the difference between these two? So let me show you the demo so that you can understand it much better. For the third anchor element or for the fourth, we have used normal white spaces, and for some of the words we have extra spaces in between. On the HTML page we can see it clearly, but if you go to Chrome and see how browser has rendered that, you can see this is my fourth anchor web element, and here I don't see uneven spaces on the browser. But if I inspect it and go to element, here also we don't see the extra white spaces between words. But if you double click on it, you can see here we have extra white spaces. So this is the case with the normal white space. So the concept is, if we use consecutive spaces using spacebar, then HTML will collapse them into single space, but this is not the case with NBSP. If I show you the HTML code, here I have more than one NBSP between words. And if I go to Chrome, here you can clearly see it has more than one white space. Here also we have more than one white space. So NBSP will not collapse consecutive white spaces. There is one more major difference. Here on this HTML page, I have created one class .container. You can give any name, and I am setting the width as 200 pixels. And I am creating one div component. In this div component, for the first one, I have created a lengthy text with normal white spaces. But for the non-breaking spaces, I have again lengthy text, but I have used the non-breaking white spaces. If I open this page in Chrome, then let's see what happens. You can see regular space text has been wrapped to the new line because I have the smaller container, and if your text value exceeds the width of the container, then it will go to the new line or next line. But for the non-breaking spaces, it will not do that. You can see it has appeared in the same line. That's why we have the scroller here. So this is the again major difference between normal white space and non-breaking spaces. Now let's see how can we write XPath for these web elements. Let's inspect the first one. This is simple anchor tag, and we have text value where words are separated using single white space. So let's copy this text value, do Ctrl F, and let's write the XPath for it. So we are going to write relative XPath, which will start from 2 forward slashes and give the tag name, which is anchor. Since it has a text, so I'm going to use text function equal to give the text value. So when we write text, so it will find all the anchor web elements and retrieve the text of it. And if the text value is equal to this string, then it is going to return that web element. Since we have only one anchor tag matching with this text value, so it is returning 1 of 1. Let's see the second one. Here we have leading and trailing vertices. So if you want to locate this web element, then we can use same text, that means with the white spaces. So let's copy and simply paste it here. So you can see it is highlighting. That is obvious because we are passing the exactly same text whatever we have in anchor tag. But sometimes it is not recommended that you use the text value with white spaces. So you can use contains here, 2// anchor square bracket, and I need to use contains function which will have its parenthesis, and here I need to use function which is text, and don't use equal to, I need to use comma and pass the value in single quotes. Since we're using contains, so I can remove the spaces from starting and end. I've written the wrong spelling of contains, so let me correct it. And now you can see it is highlighting. Instead of text, we can use normalize space as well, because that function will remove any leading and trailing white spaces. That means I can use 2// a and use normalize hyphen space and equal to give the value. Here I need to remove the spaces. Now you can see it is highlighting. So how does this normalize space work? When we call this function with the tag, then by default it is going to fetch the text value and it will remove all the white spaces from the starting and ending. That's why we need to pass the string value without any space at the starting and end. This is the one feature of normalized space. And please remember, normalized space fetches the text value by default, but we can use with the attribute also, which I will show you in some time. The third one, we have more than one white spaces at the starting and ending. Here we don't see that one, but if you double click on it, you can see it clearly. Or you can go and check the HTML page. So here we can use normalized space or we can use contains as well. So copy the value, come here and paste it. So you can see it is highlighted. Let's see this anchor wave element. Let's inspect it. Here you can see we have spaces at the starting and end of the text value, but also we have more than one white spaces between words. So again, you can pass the same value with the text function or you can use the contents, but if you use the normalized space, then it will be much better for you because these issues might be fixed by developers later and your script might fail. It may not find the wave element. So what we can do, let's copy the text value and use normalize space, put the value here and make sure that you remove all the white spaces from starting and end, and also make sure that you have only one white spaces between words as well. Otherwise it will not match. Now comes to the main topic. This wave element contains text value with non-breaking spaces. Let me see whether my text function works here or not. So copy the value that the XPath 2// a and give the text function equal to single quotes pass the value. You can see it is not highlighting that one. It appears on the screen as a normal space, but when I am using text value with spaces, it is not identifying the element. If you use contains, then it will work because it is not comparing that nbsp. So let me use contains and remove spaces from starting and ending and close the parentheses. So now you can see the challenge will be in the next wave element. For the second last wave element, I have the nbsp between words. So let me apply text function again and see whether it works or not. So use 2// anchor text and pass the value. It is not working. That is obvious. Shall we try normalize space method? Let's try that as well. So instead of text, use normalize hyphen space. You can see it is not locating any wave element using normalize space method as well. So you might be thinking, what is the solution of it? First solution is wherever you have non-breaking white spaces, replace that with the Unicode representation of nbsp. So let's copy the text value which contains non-breaking spaces, and wherever we have this space, replace it with /u00a and 0, and same thing for the last one, and use this value with text or normalize space. Let's try it here first. I'm going to use 2// then text equal to this value. So here you can see it is not highlighting any web element, but let's try this in coding. So let's copy this XPath, go to IntelliJ. I have already loaded the required HTML page. I'm going to find the element and print the text value. So let's paste the XPath and make sure that you have only single slash, because if you pass two slashes then it will be kept. Let's run the program and see whether it is able to fetch the text or not. So you can see here it is able to fetch the text value. So this locator or this XPath was not highlighting any web element in the browser console, but when we used with our Selenium script, it is working fine. We can use normalize hyphen space function as well. If you see the next web element, here we have multiple nbsp. When we have one or two, we can replace it. But when we have a lengthy text, and you have more than one non-breaking spaces between words, then it will be really big problem to replace all those NBSP with the Unicode character. So we have another way to handle that. We have another function translate, and that function we can use to replace one character with another, or we can translate one character to another. Let me show you the example. I am going to take this anchor web element where I have more than one non-breaking space between words, so it will be good to use normalize hyphen space. So let me copy this text value first and go to notepad++, and wherever we have nbsp, replace that with normal white space, and if we have more than one, then replace with one, because I'm using normalize hyphen space method. Now here we have multiple nbsp, so I'm going to have only one, and remaining we have normal white spaces. So let's copy this and go to program, and instead of text use normalize space, and here we have another method called translate, which will take some arguments. So first one, from where to translate. So I'm using dot, that means it will take the text value, comma, what I want to translate. So I want to translate all the nvsp, so I need to pass the unicode character of that, which is /u00a and 0. It should be replaced with normal space. After translating whatever is output, this should be equal to my modified text value, and here it seems I have ampersand sign which is not needed, and run it. Let's see whether it works or not. So you can see it had returned the text value in the same format whatever it appears or written in .html page. Now let's see whether this XPath highlights or locates the web element in the Chrome browser or not. So I'm going to copy this XPath and go to Chrome browser and paste it here. You can see it is highlighting, but whatever Unicode character we have in the XPath, that has been converted to space, actually NVSP, and it is highlighting the web element. If you try to put Unicode character manually, that means /u00a0, and try to locate, it is not finding the web element. We can use console. Here we need to use $x and paste the XPath whatever we have created. Here also you can see it has converted or translated that Unicode character to NVSP. We see it as white space, but it is actually NBSP. And if you hit enter, you can see it has written the anchor element. And the advantage of console is that we can directly put /u00a0 and hit enter. It will locate the element in this case as well, which was not possible in element tab. So just create the locator and you can verify in this way. And for the last web element, here we have proper text values, but id value means nvsp. So whatever concept we applied for the text, we can use for the attribute also. So let me go to Chrome console, press up arrow so that it will repeat the last executed statement. And since we need to apply this translate function on id, so here instead of dot, use at and put the attribute name. This will be as it is, and it will be replaced with the normal space, and the expected id value is id value. So let me copy this only and put it here and hit the enter. So here it has returned me the anchor tag where id is id value. So these are the ways in which we can handle the web elements containing non-breaking white spaces. That's all in this video. If you need out, please comment on this video. If you really like my videos, please like, comment, subscribe and share with others. Thank you everyone.